advice would you give individuals that are not getting the Division I offers they thought they were going to get, not getting Division II offers, they're getting a couple of Division III offers? What would you tell your younger self about that?
I would say be grateful for the offers you're getting, no matter the division, because it's an extra couple years to play basketball no matter what. And two, there's a reason you're probably not flooded with offers. Sometimes, for the most part, it could be underexposure, underdeveloped, right? But if you just, it's so hard to understand gratitude when you're young. But if you can try to be grateful for the offers that you're receiving, a lot more things will probably come your way. And like I said, I'm a big believer that things happen as they're supposed to. So you're receiving the things that you're supposed to. Just take it, I guess, take it how you want it. But again, gratitude's the number one thing I can stress about, especially smaller offers.
When did you get to that point? Was that after you left college, or was it when you made the decision that you were going to go to a Division III school?
Um, I think I really started to understand, I guess, like the gratitude behind everything. I would say after freshman year of college, when I finally started to get like my spot, because I realized how good our level was, and I wasn't as happy prior because I didn't think that the Division III level was as good, but I don't know. I've never really thought about maybe when I got to that point. I definitely know I was there junior year for sure. I was happy where I was at for sure junior year. I know I was cool sophomore year and grateful for it. Freshman year was pretty stressful for me. Um, but everybody wants to play. They don't want to like not play the sport that they love you know, because I know I have friends that were on the team that didn't get to play 1 minute throughout their entire college career. So I mean, I try and compare it to them because these are the same people, you know, that were the best on their team in high school, then got a offer to play Division III basketball and then didn't even play at all.
Mm.
You know, of a gratitude thing as well. Like, all right, I got time. You know, I got my burn throughout the years. I don't know. You just once you start putting it up next to people, you really start to put in perspective like how grateful you are. Because I had teammates, like I said, like Mo and Marcus. If they're watching this for whatever reason, like they didn't get the time that they felt that they deserved and stuff, but they stuck through it, man. And they would have died for my time freshman year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you attribute that to? You attribute that to more just the right fit, the right time, or do you? I mean, what? I
Yeah.
think it's mind blowing to even hear that for a lot of people listening to this. Not mind blowing to me, but to walk in there, like you said, with lack of gratitude and think that I'm just going to waltz in here and it's Division III school, so I'm going to play because I played in high school. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not the actual reality. Like it has to be a good fit for you as well.
Well, like this is what I always tell people that ask me because everybody asks me the same questions sometimes. But um, everybody that plays at the college level is good, right? Everybody on your team is a good basketball player. But for the most part, like, or I guess everybody was the best on their team in high school.
Yeah.
And then once you get to college, everybody is good on your team. So it really just has to, like you said, it really just has to go with how good of a fit are you for that team. Because I'm sure the guys that didn't really get much time on my team could have played somewhere else.
Yeah. I want to get into some of these videos that I've seen online when you've played against different Division I players, overseas players, Division II players, and really held your own. But before I do, for me, again, I can only use my own point of reference and want to see if it aligns with yours. The fact that I didn't go to Division I, like the very thing that I was like ashamed of when I came out of high school, it almost seemed like that was my badge of honor. It almost felt like that was my moment of grit that I was able to be a part of. That I did get overlooked, or I did play Division II, or I did play junior college. Do you have that same mentality having gone to a Division III school when you see all these other players that are trying to really say you're not the player that they are because they have a higher, like they went Division I? Do you look at it like a moment of a badge of honor more than something you're ashamed of?
Yeah, 100%. Because I'm happy where I'm at. I've always like it took me a while, I think, to like really start to get in the mindset of I do not care what people think or what they're gonna say. A lot of times it's like your opinion just really doesn't matter to me because I'm happy where I'm at. And so whether or not you're Division 2, Division 3, you're a pro player, and you look down on where I came from, it I don't know, it just really doesn't matter to me. And I think for the kids that might be watching this, an easy way to break into that mentality is just to focus on yourself, and to focus on the things that you want to do and your goals. Because once you realize that another person's opinion has nothing to do with whether or not you're going to get there, then that's kind of where like you said, it's a badge. Wear it strong, wear it proud. That's all you.
Yeah.
You can't change that.
Gotcha. So as far as Division 3 is concerned, Division 3 can't offer athletic scholarships. So I'm imagining that it's more balanced as far as your schedule is concerned. Can you talk to us a little bit about your schedule with still getting in the gym, still getting better at your craft, but also the time and the effort that you had to put into your studies?
I never enjoyed school. I never liked going to class. I never liked doing the homework, right? But I knew that for what I wanted to do, I had to go through some of the things that I didn't want to do, right? And a lot of people can't break that barrier. So my schedule, I guess, it was definitely tricky because I know I had to put school first, right? Um, I guess to break it down, because I was doing the YouTube thing as well. But my last 2 semesters of college were like super time consuming, because I really focused on making sure I was at least like passing my classes. Right, that was kind of the first thing, because without passing my classes, which had to come first, right?
You wouldn't
Without
be
passing,
eligible.
I couldn't play basketball. Without
Yeah.
playing basketball, I couldn't make the videos.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure I was passing, right? Doing the homework and stuff and staying on top of it. Um, I wasn't great at it, but I still managed around a 3.0, right? I luckily fell in love with what I was doing, which was integrated media, which kind of fell into play with the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
But the schedule, I usually had about 3 classes a day. I'd work out once a day, basketball wise. We'd also have practice, and then we'd also have a lift. I would record videos, my game day videos. I'd also do practice videos. I'd do some vlogs as well. So, and I edit those myself. But just I hate being stagnant. So if I was ever just sitting and not moving, like I always got to be doing something, then I would have hated it. So I kind of just always liked being busy. But the schedule throughout school was always hectic for me.
Gotcha.
But
So a 3.0, that's a B. That's a B average for a lot of people that may not know. But as far as that schedule, yeah, I want to dig a little bit more into that as far as the systems that you put in place, because there are people that are saying that, much like you and me, I went to college. I wouldn't have went to college if it wasn't for basketball. I wouldn't have graduated high school if it wasn't basketball. And that's not something I'm proud of, but that was my reality. And I feel like a lot of people need to know that you don't have to necessarily be on the dean's list every year or make straight A's to want to go to college. But I mean, you said something that piqued my interest when you said that you still had to balance not only classwork but also your videos and basketball. So were there any systems that you put in place as far as, did you utilize planners? Did you utilize Google calendars? Did you like checklists? Like what worked for you, and what advice would you give for those individuals going into college that are like, man, I got so much stuff to balance. How do I do it?
you will make time for the things that are priority in your life, and once you prioritize them, you know what you're going to do when you're going to do it. I really didn't have any set structure. I just knew what had to be done by the end of the day.
One thing that a lot of people overlook as far as college is concerned, and high school, but definitely college, is going back to what we said earlier as far as fit. Whether it be the systems you're playing in or the coaches that you're playing for. Can you talk a little bit about just, I guess, the coaching style, and if that fit what you had going on initially? Because I know you said as a freshman you didn't get as much burn as you did as you progressed. Did the fit really did it fit you as far as coaching is concerned?
As far as coaching is concerned, yeah, because the playing style at Mount Union and the way that Coach Fewline coaches, he's so laid back. and kind of just like lets us play our game. A lot of coaches want to control everything. The thing with Coach Fewline is he's like, I know I recruit really good basketball players. I got to let them play their game or else they're going to hate me.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of just like, you know, like I wouldn't say run and gun team, but we were fast paced and we really didn't like run plays. You know, we kind of just like let us play on the offensive side. All we did was like ball screens and stuff. And I think it worked out for me because uh, I don't think I was a super structured basketball player. Like I said, I was underdeveloped, so I really never took into account every single thing going on in the court. But I fell in love with the program because, like I said, Fewline just let us just kind of just play our game, you know. And I think that's important. A lot of coaches lack that. I wouldn't say knowledge. Well, I guess I would say knowledge. Lack the knowledge of like letting their players just play, especially at the college level. I'd say it's different in high school and middle school and stuff because not everybody's a basketball player in those teams. Let's be honest. Yeah. But once you play at the collegiate level, you're playing with all good athletes, and especially if you're playing basketball, you're playing with good basketball players, you know. So I feel like that's why I fit in well over here because I don't like being controlled, and Fewline was kind of the perfect coach.
You know, when I was in high school and in college, I had a difficult time separating myself from what I did from who I was. Right, so my identity, I played basketball, so I looked at myself as a basketball player. I didn't feel like there was anything that I could offer to the world other than that. Once I got out of college and I realized there were so many things that I could tap into. It seems to me that you tapped into that earlier, that you weren't identified with just basketball. I mean, that would be hard for you to do if you were walking around with a camera and teaching yourself how to video edit and things like that. Is that a fair assessment, or did you have a tunnel vision as far as basketball is concerned?
I think it just kind of fell into place like perfectly because my freshman year I wasn't getting a lot of time, and like throughout high school I was like the star of the basketball team. People looked at me as a basketball player that went to Cuyahoga Falls, like Devontae Friga, the basketball player at Cuyahoga Falls. You know, it wasn't like Devontae Friga, the vlogger at Falls or the YouTuber or whatever. It was, you know, I was a basketball player, and then once I got to college and I was a freshman and I wasn't playing, and you know my roommate Nathan was the basketball player. He's the freshman, like he's the guy. We got DeAllen Jackson, he's set to go play overseas professional basketball. We got JJ Kokura scoring 30 points a game. Like I wasn't the basketball player here, and I needed to find a place because I had eyes on me before, and that's just how I felt. I fell in love with basketball or YouTube and recording videos and making videos and creating art. And it stood me out from everybody else again. So then people started to see me as Devontae, the guy that makes YouTube videos on campus. And then finally I fell into my place with basketball and I got to make basketball videos. And then I was Devontae, the basketball YouTuber, you know, and then the things just fell into place, and now it's not just basketball. Then I started the motivational side of things, right? And then I started like a separate business with photography and videography that really nobody knows about. We don't have anymore, but there were just more things that I started to do. And I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he always says, taste a lot of things. So I started tasting a lot of things, like creating businesses and starting a podcast and doing a vlog and spending extra hours in the gym. And then you fall in love with the things that you fall in love with, and then you share them, you know. And like I said, everything just kind of fell into place perfectly. And once you grind at something, you know what you love.
Yeah. Gotcha. So I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I think it's important that people know that when you go to college, it's not just straight lines. It's not necessarily as you pictured it before you got into it, that you may get some adversity. I always mention my favorite quote by Mike Tyson saying, you know, that everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right? So talk to us about your moment where maybe metaphorically speaking, you got hit in the mouth and you had to battle through some adversity in college, and how you just kind of dealt with that.
Freshman year of college.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
It was my thing, man. Like I said, I went from like being known as somebody, right? People knew me in high school, and then I come here and everybody knows everybody else. And, you know, that's so many athletes that play in college experience this feeling where they're not the person anymore, the guy or the girl or whatever, you know. And a lot of people they don't eat that and move on to something new. Yeah. A lot of people just like take that, get hit, and just kind of like play that role. And I couldn't stand just playing the role, right? And I talk about knowing your role, but playing a role is different, right? Because like I said, just getting here and feeling like I was nobody again, man, and it hurt, like mentally and physically, it hurt me. So I needed to find something new. But like you said, man, you have a plan until you get hit in the mouth. When I got hit in the mouth, it was find a new plan, right?
Gotcha.
I don't know, man. That's what it is. When I got here, freshman year, sophomore year, and I just felt like nobody, and then you turn yourself into somebody by believing you can do something, you know.
You said a buzzword that got my ears standing up as far as role is concerned. Now, a lot of people handle that differently as far as, you know, if they're not playing. They're all good with riding the train of, I'm the player, I'm the person who gets the ball, I'm the person who gets the most playing time. I've been on both sides of that coin. I've been on the side that I'm getting a lot of playing time, and I've been on the side where I'm not getting any burn. The only time I touch the floor is during the halftime or warm-ups. So talk to us a little bit about the role that you had to play when you weren't playing the desired role. Because a lot of people just sit on the end of the bench and pout, or sit on the end of the bench and talk bad about the coach, or this coach doesn't know what he's doing. Talk to us about the role that you played when you had to play an undesirable role.
Before I answer that, and anybody that watched, because you just mentioned the end of the bench, a lot of people that play that role or know their role at the end of the bench, that is one of the most important roles of the team. Being somebody in college or in high school or in middle school, whatever team you're on, whatever level, if you are not playing, but you are still on the team, that is one of the most important roles on the team, because you are the energy giver, taker, receiver, whatever. You spark the energy for everybody. And I will say this, the Mount Union men's basketball team that I was just on my senior year, our bench was amazing because they kicked our butts in practice every single day. And then when it came to game time, they stood up when we made baskets. They clapped. They were loud. Like, one of the most important roles. And a lot of people don't get that. And a huge shout to our bench. Huge shout out to Mo Johnson, Vaughn Johnson. I love him if he's watching this. Big shouts to my guys. But to go back to your question, for me, my role coming into Mount Union, I believed was going to be scoring until I got here and realized that everybody on the team already scores. And I say this to everybody I talk to that's about to go play college sports. So if you're watching this, pay attention, because this is so important. And this is something that I wish I would have known. Find out where your team struggles the most and become tunnel vision at it. Because that's where you're going to find your spot to actually play more. And when I realized that we sucked at rebounding my freshman year, I knew that my triple-double or whatever on JV was because I was rebounding, 12 to 15 rebounds every single time. If I could attack the glass and if I could rebound the ball, I knew that they might move me up, right? And I got my chance, and I was rebounding, right? I said my first varsity game, I probably almost had a double-double at least. And I just knew that was my spot. So if you are going into college and you're not sure if you're going to get playing time, find out where the team struggles the most, become tunnel vision, and do that for sure. But that was my role at first, was rebounder, and then fell into more of a scorer role my junior and senior year.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jen Fay. I just interviewed her. She's from Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, and she was talking about when she got hurt. She got an ACL. Like, she hurt her ACL in high school, and she hurt her ACL in college as well. And one thing that just caught me off guard is she said that she took that serious as well, as far as her role that she was playing on her team, even when she was hurt, because she was able to still cheer her teammates on. And kind of saying what I just said earlier, that a lot of people would take that time to pout. A lot of people would take that time to cause fragments in the team rather than actually trying to help the team and advocate for people and be happy for people out there, even though you're not playing. A lot of people are like, you know what, if it's not me that's shining, then why should I even care? But just hearing your story, man, it reminds me of, playing the role that your team needs you to play, and not necessarily that your ego wants you to play. I'm at 6'4". I grew up watching guys like Jason Kidd and Gary Payton and a little bit of Dwayne Wade and all those guys at 6'4", and they don't play the small forward and forward position or center position. They play the point guard position. So I've missed many scholarship opportunities on tryouts because I went out there shooting threes when I was supposed to be down low. So it's just kind of funny because, we just got to be honest with yourself. It comes with maturity, and that gratitude piece you talked about, but comes with maturity saying, you know what, this is not the best role for me on this team, but maybe for my ego, and it's not really a place for that.